Hey there, it's Joycelyn Wells at mySHAPE.Spotlight with Clarisa Gillis. Woohoo! She's the host of the Sweet Spot. It's a radio station, a radio show on BFAM 109.6, and she is the host of Sweet Spot. Everything from vanilla to vodka. I love that. I feel like that should be on t-shirts. How are you today?
You know what? It should be on t-shirts. I'm gonna get some t-shirts. It's gonna be on t-shirts and cups and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. Oh, we talking merch. Let's get some merch.
That's exactly right. Need some merch.
That's what the kids say. Let's get some merch. It's merch.
Yeah.
Yeah. So welcome, Clarisa. This
Thank
is
you.
if you guys didn't know, this is us trying to get together and chat from the past couple of weeks because we had a technology issue, and now we're here to have our great conversation. So, Clarisa, why don't you start us off by telling us a little bit about who you are?
Well, I am Clarisa Gillis. I was born in Georgia, and I have been all over the place, all over the world. I moved back to Georgia probably 10 years ago from Anchorage, Alaska. I am a person who is really interested in and dedicated to trying to be of service.
Anchorage, Alaska.
That's who I am.
What were you doing in Anchorage, Alaska?
I'm sorry?
What were you doing in Anchorage, Alaska?
Well, I was married when I was in Anchorage, Alaska, and I moved there. It was a military move. And after 3 years, it was time to leave or not leave. And I had fallen in love with Anchorage. And so we stayed 16 more years.
Wow. That is amazing. That's a conversation we're going to have because I don't know that I've ever considered visiting Anchorage, but I would be open to it. Because I think, myself thinks it's just ice and cold, and it's probably way more than that.
And the cold is not for most of us. We don't like it. But I must tell you, the summertime, it's 70 degrees every day. It's 65, 70 degrees. If it's 80, people are having heat strokes, right? And so even though winter's about 8 months, sometimes 9, the summers make up for it.
And in Anchorage, isn't that where you get the 6 months on and 6 months off of light and dark? Is that Anchorage?
Well, not quite. You get that in Bethel. The sun goes down in Bethel in November, and they don't see the sun again until almost February. But in Anchorage, you get darkness, but it's really dusky. Like the shortest day, we will end up with probably 22 hours of darkness. But in all fairness, it's dusky. Probably the 6 hours, it's like dusk, and the sun never comes up.
Oh, so it's not like
in the summertime.
It's not our pitch.
3-4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. Okay.
It's daytime. It looks like you're outside barbecuing at 4 o'clock in the morning because it looks like 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
What? Wow. Definitely an experience, nevertheless. So
I think everybody should visit.
Yeah, and I'll have to add that. I got to add it to my things to do. I like to travel. I like to find myself in new places. So I would definitely have to add that. Now you'll have to go back with me and show me around.
Okay, you got a deal.
Yeah. So I mentioned earlier that you're the host of the Sweet Spot. Tell us about I like the Sweet Spot. The name is just super sexy and erotic to me, the Sweet Spot. And it may not even be that intentionally, but why not?
Yeah. The Sweet Spot could be, anything. For me, I changed the name of the show probably, maybe a month or 2 ago and I changed it to Life in the Sweet Spot. It's still the Sweet Spot.
Oh, yeah.
I changed it to Life in the Sweet Spot because I think that we should always be looking for that space where we're happy and we're fulfilled and we want to live life in the sweet spot. So, yeah. And so from Life in the Sweet Spot, it's a show I talk about what I'm thinking about, that week. Sometimes I'll have guests or guest hosts. A lot of it's relationship related in relation to yourself. A lot of it for me is we don't pay that much attention to our relationship with ourselves.
Yes,
we're concentrating on other people. And I want to bring light to the fact that the most important relationship we have is the one we have with ourselves. The other relationships are important, But if you don't have a good, clean, honest, solid relationship with you, the others don't matter anyway.
It doesn't matter. That's right. And I love that you said that, because that's where I am right now. So 2 things: life in the sweet spot. I'm not doing anything that doesn't bring me pleasure. And think about that. If I'm doing something and I don't like it, I'm going to be like, okay, I'm done. I'm either going to wrap it up real quick or I'm cool. But for me, I've realized that the only person who's going to make sure, and this goes to the relationship piece, the only person that's going to make sure that I'm experiencing goodness is me. Nobody's checking for my goodness. Nobody's checking to see if I'm happy. That's on me. So when I allow myself to sit in these yucky ass spaces, that's on me. That's my relationship with myself. And that's right in line with what you're saying. And I think as people, we lose that because we feel compelled to take care of other people or make sure other people are happy.
Right. And we don't say no enough to the things that we really want to say no to.
Girl.
You know, listen, this is the year of yes for me, but I don't have any problem saying no to anything that's going to steal from me. If it's going to steal my time, it's going to steal my joy, it's going to steal my love. Anything that I need, it's going to take from me. Nope, passing. Thank you. I'm so glad you thought of me. You know.
Yep. And so I had that experience where people used to inbox me, asking me questions about writing or doing anything that I'm doing. And I would talk to them. And what I realized is that people just want to engage. They're not really going to move anything or do anything. And so I started saying stuff like, hey, send me your email address. I want to send you an invoice. And it's really quick. People will shut down talking to you when they have to invest in the time that they want, because they want it for free. But I had to learn that. I had to learn, like, people are taking from you because you're open market. You're giving it. And as soon as
you don't get it back.
Yeah, you don't.
You don't get it back. And nobody walks into a store and picks up their merchandise and walks away without going through the cash register. And so I don't see why it should be any different when you are getting a consultation or any kind of assistance from another person, especially if that person has and is running a business. You pay for their time.
Yep.
But I don't know why people have difficulty with that.
Because they don't realize that they're paying you for your time and experience.
And your expertise.
They don't understand, like, okay, so it looks like I'm doing this and you think it's easy, but I've been really building this moment for 30 years. Like,
so why should you give it away?
Why am I giving it away? And that's really tough. That's a tough space to be in, especially when you want to see people progress. But you know that it's like this. If you build a sandwich at Subway, you're a sandwich artist, and you're building, somebody's only build a sandwich in the kitchen, some things are going to be different. But when you're trying to tell them how to build a Subway sandwich, they're missing some steps. Like, they literally need to come through the rank of what it looks like to build this sandwich. You can't just give it to them because they can't duplicate it. And yeah, I call them
and it's just always crazy to me that it's people care about you. You know, you hear all the time, people care about you. Well, I care about you too. But if you really care about somebody and what they're trying to accomplish, I would rather pay you than pay somebody else, or I would rather pay you for your time than to get it free from somebody else who doesn't care, and they may not even give me what I need.
Absolutely. Listen, as a consumer, when I go to my friends who own businesses, I'm paying what they're asking. I'm not asking for a discount. I'm not
bargaining with you. I'm giving you a tip.
Hold on, babe.
It is what it is, and I guess that's probably a part of the way some people grow and some people don't understand.
I don't want the hookup. I literally don't want the hookup. Charge me what you charge me. Charge me what you charge, because here's the thing. If you give me a hookup, you're going to come to me saying, remember when? No. I don't want
exactly right.
And I support you in your business. I'm supporting you and your, that's why I came to you, because I want to support you in your business. I'm not coming to get a hookup. I don't want it.
Thank you.
The
No.
Yeah.
I mean,
The
people, if you give everybody a hookup before you know it, you're not going to be successful, because you just are giving it away for free. You may as well not have a business.
Because they're going to tell you, go to this person because they're going to give you a hookup. Go to this person. And the next thing you know, you're going to be out of business because you're trying to get a hookup.
Right.
When I published my first,
I think that's a problem for us.
Yeah. When I published my first book, the editor, I asked the editor, I said, look, I've never done this before. Tell me what you charge. I'll pay you. And I'll pay you in installments because I don't have any money and I've never done this. And the editor was like, gave me a price. Okay, I paid in installments. Well, the second book came and I was like, okay, so we're going to edit the second book. And they're like, well, I gave you the girlfriend discount for the first book. Nothing should have been spoken after that. Because for me, I was like, oh no, I didn't ask you for a discount. I don't know about a girlfriend discount. Don't do this shit to me. Like, don't try to knock me over the head today because of what you chose to do yesterday. And I didn't know anything about it. And that soured it for me. Like,
well, yeah, because at that point you can't trust.
Right.
You just, you can't trust to have any type of a professional relationship with that person, because it's not professional at that point.
Right.
I didn't, didn't sound like
I didn't. And that was the whole thing. So I'm like, a girlfriend discount? I ain't asked for that. I don't do that. Like, that's not me. And so, and that was really just kind of a turning point in the relationship that they had, that she and I had, because I was like, what the hell are you talking about? So it forced me to go and get another editor that can I afford it or not? And I've even had people give me their prices for stuff, and I say, oh, you know what? I can't afford that, but thank you. And then they'll come back and say, well, hold on a minute, and they want to negotiate. Well, that's on you to come back and negotiate, but otherwise, I'm telling you, oh, I can't afford it. But I think we got to keep in mind the yeses and nos, that checks and balances in our life, or people will run us into the ground and they're not worried about it.
And it's, when I was younger, it was really hard to say no. But as I've gotten older and I realize I probably have more time behind me than I do have in front of me. I may not. My grandfather lived to be 101 and he lived well. But we don't know. But when you get to be 50, you figure that, okay, I don't necessarily know that I have 50 more years. And so whatever time I have, it's so valuable. And I have to treat it like the gift that it is.
Yeah, absolutely. And people don't get to make ill use of me because they want to make ill use of me. Like, who the hell are you to make ill use of me? I remember
they don't get to. No. They don't get to, and they will. We have to. It's hard to take responsibility for somebody mistreating you, but I think a lot of times it's in the allowance of. We have to stand up and say, I'm not going to allow it anymore. Or I'm not going to allow it at all. Because many times when we're mistreated, we're only mistreated because we allow it. At some point, you may not always be strong enough in the beginning of something, or you may not even understand that you're allowing it. But once you realize you're allowing it, you have to back away, and you have to not allow people to do.
Yeah. But
it's a great thing you don't give people permission to use you in a way in which it doesn't.
Don't you think that goes with recognizing the power of you and knowing that you have a choice? Like, you literally
have a choice.
And you get to say no. No, thank you.
Right.
No, you don't have to be mean or mad about it. No, thank you. Yeah.
Well, but we've been taught, especially little Black girls, when we're growing up, that's how we get in so much trouble. We're taught that no is not a nice thing to say. I mean, we are. And we're taught anything that you can do for somebody, you should do it.
Yeah.
No, I shouldn't.
And
not if it interferes or it hurts me.
And anything that somebody does for you, you have to appreciate it. Well, first of all, I didn't need that and I didn't ask it. So I don't, you're right. I don't appreciate it because it had nothing to do with me. That's what you chose. We're not, and that's not a conversation that's had with the young Black girls either, because we're expected somebody do something. Oh, thank you. I appreciate. No, I don't. That ain't got nothing to do with me. We're not taught that either. And that puts us in some awkward positions because people will say you're so unappreciative.
Right.
Well, if I had asked,
they do.
Yeah.
And people, it's interesting. People will judge you for protecting yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Have you noticed that as you become somebody who doesn't allow?
Oh yeah.
People will try to shame you for taking care of you.
Child, please. Not me. Look, not me. Not no more. Because I don't care.
Well, listen, it doesn't affect me. You know, I'll tell you in a minute. Get on down the road. Get on down the road with that, because I'm not ashamed. I'm not affected, and I'm still not gonna do it.
Yeah. Be like, oh, bless your heart. Yeah, go on. Get the hell away from me. All right. And I had to leave a business relationship with something like that. And it was somebody, I feel like they were making ill use of me. And I wanted to trust them in the business relationship. I wanted to trust them. I trusted their words, their reporting, but what they were saying and what they were reporting wasn't anything that I could corroborate. You know, so it was just like, it was words happening and I was excited about it until I started fishing around trying to go to these sources, and it was empty for me and I had to leave the relationship. But I had to be very gentle in the way that I left, because my path is my path and I didn't want any yucky on my path, you know? So it was kind of like, you know, because I was paying for a service and I was like, hey, I know that I pay you for a service at the beginning of the month, but can I pay you at the end of the month so that I can make sure I'm getting what you said? And they were like, well, I think you won't pay if you don't pay at the beginning. And I was like, well, I'm not going to pay. And I just had to leave, you know? So, but it was me protecting myself, because I was like, you're promising me something and I'm not getting it. And and that took a lot of strength from me. And so it's really interesting when we think about stuff, how people make use of you. And one of my colleagues put it in a perspective for me that made me take pause. They're like, oh, he's pimping you. And I'm like, pimping me? It's like, well, he's using you and your resources and your pay. But he's making, he's making money. I was like, you know, like,
but you don't think about something like that until you're just so deep in it. Yep. Because I know for me, my intentions are always good, right? Mm-hmm. And when you're somebody whose intentions are always good, it's really hard when you find out everybody else's intentions aren't good. And I tell you, I had a situation, broke up a relationship with a person, and this person said to me, and it has been profound and it has served me well since I heard it. Never thought about it, you know, and it was my parting gift. And my parting gift was this: do not expect people to be who you are, because we are not who you are.
That's right. That's it. There you go.
And up to that point, I'd never thought about that. Mm-hmm. I'd never thought about that. I'm walking around here, Mary Poppins, you know, thinking everybody has good intentions for me.
No,
they don't.
They don't. They don't. And
so that was a wonderful parting gift for me. Mm-hmm. It has served me.
Yeah. And that's the funny thing is, like, once you realize you put people in the little box that they live in, you leave them in their box. You stop expecting them to be in this growth space when you realize they're not. Like, oh, I can't. You're not a field of greens. You're a divot. Like, you know, you keep them where they are because that's the only place they can operate. But I'm going to tell you.
And you have to. Yeah. And it's okay for them to be in that box, and it's okay for them to be who they are.
Yeah.
You just have to understand how that works in relation to who you are.
Yep. And you also figure out these people want to control you. They look at ways constantly to try to manipulate you, to try to manage you. I mean, you're like, you can't manage me. You're not qualified.
That's exactly right. You can't even keep up with me. How you gonna manage me?
But for
Move.
them, they have their sights on you, and I'm like, wrong one. You can't. That's not how I operate. Like, and I'm kind and friendly
Hmm.
with everybody. However, my focus is on being of purpose. So I'm not getting caught up in the yucky yuck with people because they fuck that. Sorry, my language is horrible. But I'm like, fuck that. I'm not doing that with you. Sit there if you want to, but don't pull me in it.
And your
Sorry.
focus has to be on your purpose. And if anybody or anything is pulling you away from that purpose, you have to move. You
Yeah.
have to move. You have to move them. You have to move yourself. You have to be mindful
Yeah.
of, and it's difficult. It's really difficult because people present themselves in a way in which you have to figure it out sometimes with
Mhm.
people.
And trust them
But
when they
once I figure it out, I'm good. I'm
Yep.
good. And I finally learned I live a life full of no expectations, right? If I
Ooh,
don't expect anything, everything is a bonus.
everything is amazing.
Everything is a
Yeah.
bonus, right?
Mhm.
And so when I decided to be intentional about living that way, oh my God, I'm so happy. I
Mhm.
just, not every day is sunshine and rainbows. Don't misunderstand what I'm trying to say. I'm saying foundationally.
Yeah.
Foundationally, I am content.
Mhm. And to have that, to remove, because our hope and our expectation is based on an internal space and past behaviors of that we have hope in. A lot of times we'll put hope and expectations on things and people that showed us they weren't shit long ago. And we hope they get it together. We hope they when they show you who they are, believe them. Take them.
And show you, listen, if you pay attention to especially your early conversations with somebody, they will tell you who they are.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
mean, you start listening to some of those stories from, oh, I did this and I did that, and and I feel this way or I feel that way. Okay,
Yeah.
I see you.
Look, 2 checks, please.
Right.
Split.
Listen, now this is my philosophy, and it's terrible. If I ever go out with a man and I say 2 checks,
It's a
he
wrap.
won't ask me for a second date because I tell them beforehand, if I ask for 2 checks, that
It's a
means
wrap.
that I don't want to owe you anything.
Mm.
Yeah,
Baby.
we're kind of done.
Yeah. I think that's so funny because when you get older and you're dating, you realize like you know when to BS. I say like I think within 15 minutes I already know.
Oh yeah,
It doesn't take
absolutely.
long. And
And I don't have to meet you. We probably not gonna get to the 2 checks conversation because 15 minutes worth of your conversation is probably gonna be enough, if that much.
yeah. That's
Mm-mm.
really funny. So one
And
of
I
the
know I should be ashamed, but I'm a grammar
no,
snob.
no. Why? I mean, but that means you paid attention in school.
Listen, the
Grammar
minute somebody says mine's to me, my time is mine. I'm done.
and
Because
you're
I
like,
know that'll drive me crazy. I can't do that.
yeah, dude. I've said for years, if I'm having the same conversation with the man that I was dating that I have with my son, that's a
Right.
no for me. It's a no for me. Like,
That's a no-go. Right.
that's a
Right.
no. Like, if I'm asking you about passport or clothes, or if it's something I could say to my son, no, because it's a no for
I
me.
like that.
Yeah. I mean, think about it, because you have a son and you raise your son, and you think
Right.
if you're saying the same thing to your son that you're saying to the man who's supposed to lead you and be this powerful force in your life, you're like,
Right.
what the hell?
Uh-uh. Uh-uh. And listen, it's so interesting. And those are the people who always the first conversation they want to have to you is about submission. And my thing is this, listen,
Yeah.
let me explain it to you. There are I, listen, I believe that there's a natural order to things, right?
Yes, I'm
So
with.
what I also believe is any man who asks you about submission is a man that's not somebody you're going to be able to submit anything to.
Absolutely.
And people walk around, and a lot of people have trouble with that word because it's been abused by, by men in relationship with women. It's been abused. And so what happens is women don't understand you cannot submit anything to a fool. If he can't guide you, advise you, help you with your life, be an equal partner to you, what are
Yeah.
you submitting?
No, you can't.
It's ridiculousness. Be worthy of that.
You
And you
can't.
might get that, but they're not worthy of that.
Mm-mm.
It's
I,
weird.
I always say that submission is inspired because I mean,
Exactly.
yeah, because I mean, I'm a very independent, moving woman. Like that's what
Me
I do.
too.
But the thing is, when I was single, no one was going to take care of me, so I didn't have a choice but to be independent. So
Right.
you can't,
I
you
pay my
can't
own bills.
you're so independent. Well, what
Yes.
the hell? Like I'm supposed to be independent, right?
And what is wrong with that? If a man is intimidated because you're independent, that's somebody that, for me, I can't do it.
Red flag.
I mean, because, I'm a woman, I'm not a girl.
That's right. That's right.
And just like you're a man, I don't expect you to not be independent. I expect you to be independent. I
We
expect you to have your own place, your own car, your own job, your own life,
ooh,
doing you.
your own thing. Have your own thing, like things that
Right.
you love. But we're gonna have to talk about this subject because this is a hot topic with men and dating and relationships because it's like I'm like I can't submit to you if there are things that you haven't done and I have. Like you want me to trust you what? You want me to relinquish. No, you got to show me that you're capable of everything that I am. You've got to, and I can't do anything to help you with that. That's in you. And people don't. They want
No,
to
no, no.
involve.
And it's difficult. I'm telling you, girl. Oh, I'd be so glad. Listen, it's really difficult out here to date because I dated this one man, and it was so interesting to me because he said, um, "I live here, and I'm happy to live here, and I don't travel." And I had to say, "Well, we don't mingle,"
Yeah,
because I can't. That's not the way that, and it's okay for people who choose to live that way. But I just knew I was gonna always want to go somewhere, and I was gonna have to go by myself. So what do I need you for?
and it will either be you go by yourself or they don't want you to go. But the choice never, the question never comes up whether they're going because they've already said I'm not going.
Right,
I'm like, what the hell are you
right.
talking about? You
So I'm not going any further
save it.
with this relationship because it just doesn't make any sense. But so many of us, we don't put them in a box.
Yeah,
We just keep trying to figure out a way around it just so we can say, I got
I got a man.
somebody.
I
I
got
got somebody
somebody.
too. Me.
Mhm. That's it. And I think that's difficult because we do try to get people to, we hope, we hope they'll change that thought. When they see how much fun we're having or they see how easy it is, and they won't. And we get lost in
They
that.
won't.
Yeah.
And I don't judge them. I think to stay and try to cajole people into doing things that they don't want to do. And I mean, and this is in any kind of relationship.
Hmm.
It's selfish
And
and it's
disrespectful.
wrong, and it says there's something wrong with them, and there's
Hmm.
nothing wrong with them nor you. It's
Yep.
just the way they choose to live their life.
Yep.
And I think walking away is a gift
Yep.
sometimes to the other person. I
And
really do.
we did, and I think it's disrespectful. Like when somebody tells you, if somebody says to you, you know what, I'm not having a threesome or I don't do anal
Right.
sex, and your intention is to get them to do a threesome or to have anal sex, that's disrespectful. I already
Right.
told you my boundaries. I've already said, and that lets me know how much you're aware of me because you're pushing this stuff
Exactly.
on me. And that I think I call it emotional rape.
Well, the funniest thing about that, that is a term that I have used for years and years and years and years. Is
Oh my God.
emotionally raping somebody. And
Mhm.
that's the first time I've ever heard somebody else who uses it, because that's what it is.
It
And
is.
and the first time that I realized, years ago, I worked at an organization, and there was some discrimination going on in the organization. I was the only person there who looked like me, and I spoke up about it. So they decided that they were going to have somebody come in. Well, I didn't know they were coming in. And they came in and we're having this meeting. I'm sitting there by myself. There's all these people, nobody who looks like me. And the first thing out of the person's mouth was, Clarisa says she's being discriminated against here by blah, 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 by this person. I didn't even know this meeting was taking place. So I got up and I said, well, here we go. Now I'm being victimized by all of you, and I'm going to leave. So I get up to walk out, and one of the board members, who's a nonprofit, she came out and she said, well, what's wrong? I said, I've just been emotionally raped, and I'm not going to stand here and take it.
Right.
You know, and that's what it is. When somebody tries to force you to do or force you to be, that's exactly what it is.
But nobody wants to call it what it is. That's a...
Oh, I do.
People want to soft shoe around what the hell it is. And so, and I've had conversations like, I've already said to you, no. I've already explained why not. And you think I want to talk to you because you keep coming at me about something I've said no to. So you're just going to rape me. You're going to rape me after I've said no. That's not rape. I said, that's exactly what it is. I said no, and you want to take it anyway. That's right. But then they want to be defensive. Like, oh, well, that's not you tripping.
But you know what happens? That they're used to doing that because so many people give in. Yeah. After a while, people get tired of hearing your mouth. Well, I'm gonna get tired of hearing your mouth. Even my kids, this has always been my rule. If I tell you no, that's what I mean. If you ask me or beg me after I've said no, the next 3 things you ask me for, I don't care what it is. The answer is no.
As a no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, and especially, you know, with my sons, I have 4 sons. I have 4 sons, 2 daughters.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And especially with my sons, I really worked hard to teach them that lesson. Because they need to understand when a woman says, no, we're not talking about it anymore.
That's it. Respect. We're not. Yep. Respect
and you have to be responsible for yourself.
Have to. And I think people miss that because they're so easy to kind of go back and forth about it. But I feel like if I say no to something, that's it for me. And I'm like, hey, you've got to respect the fact that you asked me a question. I processed it. My answer is no.
And it's not changing.
I didn't say maybe, let me think about it. I said no, so that I have a definitive answer. If I give you definitive information or definitive answer, you've got to respect that. I've said that to my son before, like, hey, I'm not going to argue with you, and I gave you a definitive answer. And it could be on anything, religion, stocks, politics. It doesn't matter. If I gave you a definitive answer, that's my answer. Ain't no reason to beat me over the head with your answer or with what you want me to say or what you want me to know. I've already said what I'm going to say. I said what I said.
And you meant what you said. And you meant it.
Yeah. And I meant it.
But you know, so many people are easily persuaded because people don't continue to do things that don't work for them. Yeah. And so, you know, by the time that they get to somebody like you or me, it's easy for them to want to continue to do that because it's worked for them with other people.
Child, I ain't got room for
Not me.
Look, I can't do it. I can't. I'm so fortunate to be in a healthy, yummy relationship with a grown ass man. Like,
yes.
I never in my entire life I never thought that someone could love me this way. Like, literally every day I'm just like, did I fuck up yet?
But wait a minute.
Are you mad at me today?
Think about when it happened for you, though. Did it happen for you when you were having the greatest love for yourself?
Yes.
See, because I think we have to get in a certain space.
Yep.
We have to get in a certain space for that to come.
And
that
I got
just come.
Yep. It was me saying that. It was me verbalizing the man who loves me and recognizing the man who loves me will love me as God loves me, unconditional, without limits. So to say that to somebody on a date, they'll be like, wait, what? Would you? Nah, bye. Bye.
You know, and I find that I don't date very much anymore because I don't want to have something in that space.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want something in that space. It's a placeholder.
Yep.
You know, if you're here, then what happens when they show up?
Yep.
Then I
Yep.
got to move you out of the way.
Yep. But you
You
realize,
know, and I feel really good about the time that I get to spend with me and enjoying and knowing and loving me.
Yeah. And I think that he appreciates the fact that I enjoy me. He
Yes.
knows that my time is occupied outside of him. He loves that because I have a general kind of rule of how I function. When we're together, I don't work much. A couple of things maybe, but when we're apart, if he's going to play golf on Sunday, then I'm going to get up at the time that he plays golf. I'm going to exercise. I'm going to work. I'm going to do stuff. So his time is occupied. Mine is occupied. So when he gets in from golf and he wants to sit on the phone and talk or whatever, then I'm going to be available to him. But
right.
Yeah. So
but you know what happens? People.
Yeah.
It's like we spend so much time looking for somebody or something to be the other part of what we aren't. And you have to be complete. I think you have to be two complete individuals before you can be a we. You have to be a me before you can be a we. And people miss the boat. And that keeps you from being able to have a healthy relationship.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. And that's it right there. It's kind of like, well, I want him to make me happy. Well, he can't. Hell, you don't even know what make you happy.
Right.
How he gonna make you happy? Like, those are legitimate conversations. Like, am I self-sustaining on my own? Can I do this on my own? And are you just the cherry on top?
Right.
That's the thing right there. Instead of looking for somebody to do something for you, live at the level that you want to live. Like I don't make a lot of money, and hopefully one day I will. I'm working on it. Hopefully one day I will. And I don't have a lot of expensive purses, that type of thing, which would be easy.
Honey, listen, this is the thing about purses. I'm gonna tell you this, and this is true. I'm not an expensive purses kind of person. My sister buys them. She gives them to me when she's done with them. Okay, lovely. Because I feel like this. If I spend $200 on a purse, I need to be able to reach into that purse and give $200 to somebody every single day. And if I cannot comfortably do that, I have no business walking around with a purse that's more valuable than what I have.
And I'm with you on it. I carry a small bag. And I like to move efficiently. So, but that's kind of.
I like a good leather bag, but I can get a good leather bag and I don't have to spend $200 on it.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, but what I do like, I like to travel. And I don't even like to travel like first class 5-star. Like, I'll do couch surfing, backpacking through Europe. But the thing he knows,
like me. I just want to get there. I just want to get
there. But what he knows
want to get there because the experience, I'm going to make it whatever it is once I'm there.
Yep. And what he knows is she's not going to spend a lot of crazy money here, but when she says let's such and such, or she means it. He knows that when I make a decision to do something, I'm gonna do it, and there's no back and forth about it. Like these are things that he's had to figure out about me, like starting a business, a nonprofit, or I want to do this, or I want to do this, and he's just like, she said that shit, she means it. He doesn't second guess it or question it or anything, because he's like, I can't. This is what she's gonna do. I'm gonna be here for her. Whatever she needs, whatever. But he knows I don't go back and forth, and I appreciate that trust in the fact that I'm an adult and I'm making decisions.
Right.
That's
right. I'm not a child.
I'm not a child.
And I don't think people who aren't equals, and you make the same amount of money and you do the same kind of, I'm talking about people who aren't mature and emotionally equal. I don't think they can succeed. You can't have a healthy relationship, I don't think, with people who aren't emotionally your equal.
Hey, equally yoked. Ain't that what they call it? Equally.
But I
Dude,
think
that's
people
real.
misunderstand equally yoked. They think equally yoked means, okay, we both make 6 figures a year, and we we both we come from the same background. And no, that's I
not
don't
it.
think that's equally yoked. I
Mm-mm.
think it's more about the intangibles
Yep. And
than
that's what
anything else.
yep.
You
It
think,
absolutely
feel,
is.
and believe the same things.
Yep. And that's the thing. It's like, and if you don't feel and believe the same things, you respect the ideology behind why the other one does. You're not
Right.
trying to
You don't
change.
interfere with
That's right.
their
That's
ability to still believe something different,
that's right.
than
Yep.
you, and it doesn't lessen their value. It
Yeah.
increases their value because now you have a different perspective to look at things from.
Hmm. I think for me, the emotional health aspect is it probably makes up more of my existence than anything else. I mean, my physical health is important, and I can go and walk for miles and exercise. But my emotional health, if that shit is off kilter, it's going to be a tough time for us to get it back together. So, my emotional well-being is critical to me being in a good space, like that. And I'll say that I say like I'm not feeling good today, and not fit like emotionally I'm in a yucky space, and I've got to correct it. But you're right, when people don't understand that or have that emotional intelligence, quote, whatever they call it, it's a problem. Men say all the time, women are crazy. Oh, she crazy. But yeah, but shit, what did you do 15 minutes before she was crazy? What's the trigger?
Well,
Like, what happened?
and being in touch is really important for me.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be in touch with, with what I'm feeling and with my head. I want to be in touch. That's who I am. And
Mm-hmm.
so a lot of people, that's just too much. They would they would rather just do something really simple, and they may not want to have the conversations that you want to have, and it'll block you. And so you
Mm-hmm.
have to make sure that whoever your friends are, your companion is, even your colleagues,
Mm-hmm.
if you can't relate, you got to cut them off and only let them have so much time and space, because it'll get you off your purpose. You won't get to where you need to go because
Yep.
you will be blocked.
Roadblock. Roadblock. Don't stop
Exactly.
there. Roadblock. Turn
And you
left.
have to recognize roadblocks.
Yep. 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 And I find myself doing that at work often because I stay to myself because there's so many pockets of other stuff that I find myself getting caught in these pockets, and they're not a benefit to anybody, even in the pocket. Like, so
Right.
yeah, it's really interesting. The dynamic of that, of just holding on to yourself. And I talked to Drea Mills this morning, and we talked about just finding your purpose and being of purpose for the universe. Like, how do you get to that space? And it's a tough road, and I'm sure
And
you
it's
find
tough to
it.
stay in it once you get there. I
Yep.
mean, I think it's harder to stay in it than to get there,
Oh, absolutely.
because there's always something going on around you. And if you can't focus and you can't stay there,
Girl,
it's hard. It's
you
really
know,
hard to just stay in that space sometimes.
yeah, I talk about the humans. I'm like, the humans not getting me caught up in this shit. Like, I literally have to have, like, the humans are an anomaly. Like, the humans can't move me. Like, that's how I have to look at situations. Like, because if you look at it from a human perspective, you understand that people want what they want, and they will flip you any kind of way they can to get what they want. So the intention isn't pure. The intention is selfish, because that's us as humans. That's our human self. We want what we want from other people, and we try to move them. So I'll just be like, oh, no human's gonna come fuck with me. I'm not gonna do that. And then other people are like, oh, she's so mean. She doesn't have any empathy. And I'm like,
Okay.
hey, look, save those games. Save that.
Right.
I'm not doing it. And
there is nothing you can say about me that's going to change the way that I'm going to behave, because I know me well enough to know that your words mean nothing other than they serve the purpose of you trying to continue to manipulate me.
Absolutely.
And I know who I am. Yeah, okay, I'm mean.
How do we get the young, I won't even say maybe some of the millennials, how do we get the young women to see the power that they have and the importance of establishing that you don't get to make
I,
How does that
I
work?
have 2 daughters in their 20s, right?
Mm-hmm.
And interestingly enough, I think the only way to get them to see, we have to mentor these young ladies.
Oh,
we
yeah.
have to allow them into our private space and our private time. My daughters, they are amazing women, and they are light years beyond what I was at their age. And that's because whatever it was as a woman I was going through, they saw it, I explained it, I didn't hide it.
Right.
Once they see it, you've got to address it.
Yep.
And so I think the only way in which to teach young women is to allow them in.
Right.
We all want to live these closed lives, and we want to have secrets, and we want to, you can't. If they are to learn, they have to understand we all go through the same things, and they have to have an opportunity to watch us go through them.
Yeah. And my daughters are 26, almost 27, and 24. My oldest daughter will be on the Spotlight next Saturday for her birthday. So
Okay.
who knows what she's going to talk about? Because baby, she is for real. Like, I just have to be like bracing myself. Like,
yeah, that's my youngest daughter. I gotta be ready.
I'll be like, Lord have mercy. So she's going to be on next Saturday. But I think that's one of the things that I constantly do for them and my son as well, is that I'm vulnerable to them. When they talk about things that was fucked up from them growing up, I take it. I'm like, oh my God, I was in a bad place and I'm sorry. I apologize. Y'all, you should tell your therapist when you get one. Like, I don't try to fix it. Like, I'm not trying to be like, well, it wasn't because it is. I just be like, oh yeah, that was messed up. I was in a bad place. Like, damn, I was.
Yeah, because you can't clean it up.
Yeah.
I mean, they anybody who has been married and had children and gotten divorced, your children have been privy to things that you may not be aware of. And they've been privy to things that you can't control the way that they saw it. And so, I've had my kids come to me and want to talk about things about it to a certain degree. And I allow them to have this is what the experience was for them, whether that was my intention or not.
Right.
And I try really hard not to take that from them, because, oh my God, I thought you didn't see that, or I thought, and I was trying for it not to. Well, okay, now that I know it's affected you this way, this is what I can give you. But you have to talk to somebody outside of me, because you have to be able to have an open, really honest exchange about it. Yeah. And I'm your mother. And because I am your mother, you can't destroy me trying to be whole.
Yeah. And unfortunately, you don't get to be mean to me, because I'm aware of what that feels like. And I will say in a minute, hey, I understand that this is a bad moment for you, but you don't get to be mean to me because I'm here.
Exactly.
Hold up. No. And so I'm not going to take it, but that's me protecting myself. And I hope it's teaching them to protect themselves. Like, I don't have to be mistreated, but my thoughts are valid. My feelings are valid. And I'll talk through all of it and be like, child, I was on some extra that day. My bad.
But the thing is, mothers, we get the brunt of it. I mean, dads get some, but we get the brunt of it because we birth them. They spend most of their time with us. Yes. We're the ones who, men have the conversations. I know some really great dads. Don't misunderstand me.
Yeah.
But for some reason, mothers kind of get the brunt of it. And I tell my kids all the time, I did the best that I could with the knowledge that I had, because all I ever wanted was for you to be happy, fulfilled, and successful.
Yep.
And so I want you to understand that, and you take that and you do what you need to do with that.
And when you find yourself in a similar situation, keep in mind, You're doing the best that you can with the experience. And
right. And nobody's going to judge you for it.
That's right. That's it. That's the funny thing behind it. It's like, wow. Like now, you know, when they start having kids and when they, you know, then they're like, shit, this is hard. Like, this is tough, you know? And you're like, yeah, it is.
And your granddaughter's still little, right? Wait till she's a teenager.
My granddaughter is such a hoot that I can't do anything but laugh. I know that I'm not doing anything but like encouraging a monster.
Okay.
But I'm leaving in like 8 weeks.
Joycelyn.
I'm moving.
Well,
I'm
look,
moving.
hey.
I'm moving, but let me tell you something. She is a spitfire in her mother's image. Like, so they're going to have a tough time, but I'm happy that I've been there these 5 years to help my daughter transition into that womanhood space. Like, because otherwise, who knows what it would be if I had been away. But to be there every day and to kind of still provide some boundaries on existing as a woman and growing as a mother. Child, my grandbaby is a whole mess. Like,
look, she is cute, but she looks like she will tell you exactly what she thinks.
Listen, she got mad at her mom the other day. Well, it's been about a month ago. And so whatever happened in the front of the apartment, I heard Ariel coming down the hallway and she was like, she is so rude. That's what I heard her say. So I didn't say anything because I was like, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah. And then as she got closer and I could hear her footsteps, she said, rude as fuck.
Where did she learn that, Grammy?
Her mother, not me. That's from her mom. That's the conversation. Watch what you're saying around the baby because she can apply it. So I didn't even intercede at that moment because I realized, oh, she's talking about her mom because I know her mom and her mom is rude. Like, like, oh yeah, I know her. It's her mom. She was talking about her mom, you know, whatever. And I told Jasmine later and she was like, oh my God. I said, you have got to own those words that come because she's sponging it.
Right.
And while she can say it and nobody's going to interfere here, when she's in school, if she says that, she's in trouble. So now she's being consequenced for what her mother is teaching her at home. So baby, Ariel is surefire disaster waiting to happen.
But aren't you glad to be the Gram? You know, aren't you glad to be the Grammy and not the mom?
I am.
Yeah, I don't have grandchildren yet. I'm looking forward to it.
Listen, it is fun, and Grandpa has her drinking alkaline water. So even when Grandpa isn't there, she is looking for the water with the plus on it, and she only wants it in the liter because that's what he buys.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So she's a water snob and will say no. You want here, take this one. No, thank you. She's gonna wait for the alkaline water. She's a mess. She's gonna be a whole ass mess.
But those are good things though. That's good. But you know, because I think that when they're little and they learn it's okay to say no, we don't have to worry about them as much.
Yep, you're right.
You know, you don't teach them too long anymore. You just don't.
That's right. Because damn it. Camera again. Dang it, I gotta stop doing that. Yeah, you're right. And she is certainly a spitfire and she's not playing with anybody. And she's just
this is good.
Yeah, she's just so quick with it and smart. So, but anyway, we have been on for like an hour. I knew we would just talk.
Well, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it more than you know, and I look forward to seeing you.
Me too. I can't wait. I'll be moving to Atlanta in June.
Okay. Okay.
I'm excited and a little bit.
I'm excited about that. It's going to be nice to have you in Georgia. It's going to be nice to know, she's breathing the same air that I'm breathing. It's wonderful.
You know what? Let's make some projects work. That's my thing. It's like now it's like, and I talked to you about the foundation, the growing men, and hell, maybe we can put something together for growing women. Like we can do whatever we want. Like that's the place that I am now. Somebody literally has to tell me no. Otherwise, I'm moving full force ahead.
You're going for it.
Yeah.
As you should.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I really think that it's so important. I think that your foundation, the fact that you're paying attention to these growing men, because that's what they are, and people don't recognize these are growing men and growing women. They're not teenagers.
Yeah.
That's their age, but that's not who they are. Who they are, they're growing men and they're growing women, and they have to be taught and loved and nurtured and treated like that. They have to be prepared for their futures. And if you're thinking, oh, I'm a teenager, you're not thinking about tomorrow. Oh my God, I'm going to become a man, or I'm going to become a woman.
Yep.
I've got to get some stuff lined up. So I listen, I am so excited about your foundation.
Yeah, me too. And I think that's one of the things I always say when people would talk to me about my kids. They're like, well, the kids need to stay in the kids' place. And I would say, I'm not raising kids. I'm raising adults.
Exactly. So you need to be prepared to respect them and to have exchanges with them that are respectful of who they are supposed to be becoming.
Absolutely. And I stand fast on that. And that's why I'm comfortable bringing my adult children into wherever I am, whether it's a cigar lounge or a restaurant or a meeting or whatever, a lunch with colleagues. Yeah. I'm comfortable bringing them because one thing for sure, they can have a conversation and they can.
Listen, my kids have been on my show.
Yeah. I love that. And that's a big deal. And so many kids can't because they're kids. Don't be disrespecting me. But I mean, these are my children. Like, these are adult people that I'm raising. I need them to function.
Thank you. They're going to always be yours, but at some point you have to recognize what yours is. Yours is no longer a child. And you have to respect that.
Yep, absolutely. So I've had a great time talking to you from our conversation. Our conversation before we went live, I'll start working on that. And then we'll get together. You. Yeah, we'll get together and just kind of tell me what you want to do. Let's map a plan.
Okay. And, I will.
Because I know I still have your writings.
Yeah. Oh, listen. I've been writing today. I'm writing again. But for a while I kind of lost the mojo, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm writing again, and we're gonna get that project closed.
Okay.
But I'm kind of glad that we didn't do it when I wanted to do it, because it's not complete.
Well, there you go. But I have it. One thing, when people submit their documents, their writings and manuscripts to me, I hold them sacred. Like, I literally hold them sacred. When you told me we're going to wait, I haven't even read it since, but I have it. Like, I'm literally.
Well, pretty soon I'm going to submit some more stuff so we can get it closed out and just get it done.
But that's for me. That's how I respect people and their boundaries. When they say not right now, okay. Yeah, I don't even touch it again. Like, until you.
Because you know how it is with any kind of writing. It's about when the writers are inspired to include, and so I appreciate that more than you know.
Yeah,
it's nice that your publisher is a writer too. I think that there's an advantage to that.
Yeah,
because you understand the process,
and the fact that the words are sacred, and you have to protect the integrity of it. Like, that means a lot to me. And I feel like establishing relationships with writers and even small business owners, as I do on mySHAPE.Spotlight, puts me in a position of trust and developing those relationships based on integrity. Like, and that means a lot to me. I hold fast on that. Like, tell me what you want me to do, and we're gonna do it. But if you say stop, I'm gonna stop. Like, but
it's like tribes, right? Tribes have the scroll keeper, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that person's important because people take themselves and they give them to the keeper of the scroll.
Wow.
And so what you do, that is who you are. And so people give you themselves to hold on to. And when people really trust you that way, it says a lot about who you are at your core.
And that's important. That's important to me because I need for people to know that their words are protected and they're safe. I need for them to know that writing in itself is vulnerable. You know, when you put that out there, and I want them to know that you're protected with me. I'm not trying to get over. I ain't trying to make ill use of. I'm going to present to you what you give and an amazing package that you are proud of. I'm going to develop this with you. And that means a lot to me as a person because I know how important that is.
Yeah. I don't think I would trust anybody else to do that for me. So thank you. Girl, we better go. We'll be talking to tomorrow.
I know. This is Clarisa Gillis, and she is the host of Life in the Sweet Spot on BFAM 109.5. And you can watch her on Facebook Live on Friday nights at 8:30, Wednesdays. On Friday nights at 8:30. And also listen on, I'll put the link to the radio station in the comments. Clarisa, does your show play over and over on the radio station?
You know what? It doesn't. It doesn't. It's just at 8:30 on Friday nights.
Okay. All right. Okay. So we'll have to figure out. So, but definitely on Facebook Live. And so we're going to try to, we'll develop it a little bit more and make sure that you have access to.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you want to add anything before we go?
You know what? I just really appreciate being able to have this kind of exchange with you. You know, you mean a lot to me. And I'm just grateful. I'm just grateful. You know, the sun's shining. You know, you're beaming at me. Life is good. And so let's just continue to live life in the sweet spot, people. That's all.
Right. In the sweet spot. We're all there.
Yes.
Thank you. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, now. Bye-bye.